Hello. Hi, everybody. This is Heidi from Rooted Fair, and we are joined by Kirsty from Thirsty Cafe. Did you want to introduce yourself at all?
So I'm Kirsty. I am the creator Thirsty Cafe on TikTok and Instagram. Yeah, and if you're not familiar with my content, I do food, drinks, lifestyle, all in the SF Bay Area for the moment. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. This is our first time we're doing a get to know series. So we're going to get to know our API community of creators and recipe developers as well. And so, yeah, we have prepared some questions, so we'll kind of go through it. But I want to first just ask, how did you get started with Thirsty Cafe?
Yeah, so Thirsty Cafe was actually my quarantine passion project. So my name's Kirsty, which the only thing that rhymes with it is thirsty. Well, yes, this has been like a really funny joke and like a little nickname I've always had just because it's the only word that rhymes with my name. So it felt kind of natural to be like Thirsty Cafe. You're drinking
Mm.
thirsty kind of content. But yeah, it was during the quarantine that I started. So it was kind of my way of kicking off like home cafe content when going out to cafes wasn't really an option. So I decided
Mm.
okay, this was the perfect time to start making drinks, doing coffee, matcha, things that I already enjoy. But now doing it at home and kind of being creative with it and kind of recipe testing. So that's really how I got started.
Yeah, I love that. And so I feel like a Rooted Fair also started as a pandemic project too. So we totally feel you on that. And it's really important to us to dig into our creativity. And so you said that this has been a way for you to get creative. So I wanted to ask, like, what does creativity mean to you, and how does that present itself in your work?
Yeah. I think for me, I started off doing just drinks. I was like strictly drinks at the beginning. I was doing drinks and story times type of thing. And then I slowly got more and more into like food and lifestyle and kind of expanding into kind of all of my different interests. I think after a while, for me, just doing drinks, it was so creative, it was so fun. But something I also loved was food. I'm always going
Mm.
out to eat, trying new restaurants, trying new things, cooking a lot. So I decided, like, okay, this was my way of being creative and expanding in that way. So now when you go onto my content, you'll see a lot of recipe testing, trying new things. I think that's the amazing thing about social media is being able to see different recipes and different things and using that as a way to kind of incorporate into your own life. So for me, being creative is filming in different ways, thinking of new recipes, thinking of things that maybe other people haven't thought of or I haven't even thought of. And I think that's really cool. And just being able to experiment and kind of push myself to create content, I think that is a form of creativity in itself. Making content consistently is definitely a exercise in creativity for me.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Like, I feel like so much of the creative process too is also about discipline of just like
Mhm.
doing the thing, even if you don't feel like doing it or you don't feel inspired. And so, yeah, that's super incredible. And so it does sound like you're pursuing your passions today. Is there anything else that you're doing now? I know when we were just talking, you were talking about the job that you're at, but kind of what's going on in your life now.
Yeah. So, in terms of passions, I definitely love creating content. I think it would be cool to do that as like my job full time. But outside of that, I am by day a digital producer and project manager at a tech company out here. So,
Awesome.
I think those are two things that I do, and they kind of overlap in a way. I think I'm disciplined from the fact that my day to day job is to organize, to plan, to do things like that. And I think the creative process for me is to be able to think of content, do those things, create, like you said. And I think for me, that's kind of where I'm passionate about. I love food and drinks. I think it's so fun. I love being able to put out recommendations for new restaurants or putting people onto new products, things like that. I've always been kind of like a overshare when it comes to putting. things. I love being,
Mhm.
if someone asks like, "Oh my God, where are you at?" I'll give you the details. I'll give you the description, what I thought, all those things. So I think naturally
Mhm.
those are things I enjoy, and I would love to do content creation on a more full-time basis, but we will see. Maybe in the future.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so I guess for this love of like food and drink, where do you feel like that comes from?
I think for me, coming from so I'm first generation Vietnamese. So for me, I think food is kind of the first love language that you learn in an Asian household. When your mom cooks
Mm,
for you, or they make you a meal, something that feels nostalgic and comforting. I think for me, food has always been that way. My mom was actually never a home cook mom per se. She does do her thing
mhm,
when she cooks, but she was never a great cook. She always had to work. And so we grew up
mhm.
eating out a lot, like doing meals that were quick and easy and stuff like that. So I think for me, food was kind of what I consider a love language, being able to share it, be able to create it, just being able to comfort each other in that way. I think when you sit with someone and get to know them over a meal, I feel like that's the most comforting and easiest way. And so for me, I think that's where that passion comes from.
That's lovely. Is there like a meal in particular, like something that's quick and easy that your mom made for you that was like your favorite that you try to recreate now?
Honestly, my mom, the few things that she does make that I do love is so Chinese sausage and rice. That is like
Yum.
meals. She would like caramelize it with like sugar and soy sauce and like
Oh
fried
my
onions.
goodness.
And like that with rice to me is just the most easy, comforting meal. It's something that I still make now when I miss her and stuff like that. I
Mm.
create that meal, and I think that is like super easy. If you've ever made it, you know that you're just like putting it in a pan, getting it nice and crispy, and then putting the sauce on. So that's definitely my favorite.
Oh my God, that sounds so good. Oh my goodness. Yeah, like food I feel like is definitely such a I don't even know, I don't know, like such a gift, I feel like, because it really connects us with our families, like specifically like you're talking about like with your mom. Like I feel the same way for my mom and I like she actually did like kind of in my upbringing, she was the person at home cooking. So mom is out here with me and she would like make just a bunch of different things all the time. And I just feel like growing up with that was so special because I like really felt like all the love and care that
Yeah.
she had for like me and the family like in those dishes. And
Mhm.
even when I like learned from her, like I have recently started to try to learn those dishes as I've also like moved away from home.
Mhm.
My mom lives in Livermore, if you happen to know
Mhm.
where that is. Yeah, so she lives there. Um, and so before I like moved down to LA again, I was like, Mom, can I like learn a few dishes from you
Mhm.
so that, if I miss you, I can make them. And so like we were side by side, I was taking notes, I was taking video,
Mhm.
and we'd even like make it in front of her, but it's still I feel like sometimes just like misses something and it's just like the
Mhm.
fact that it was made by my mom.
Yeah.
But I guess like in some ways that is as close as it can get and like
Mhm.
even if it doesn't taste exactly the same, I feel it's really wonderful still. So,
Mm. I feel that. There's
yeah.
something about when a mom cooks for you, there's like love is like actually an ingredient in that because I've recreated recipes that my mom makes. So something that my mom makes that I actually do really, really love is she makes fish sauce chicken wings. And I swear they're
Whoa.
the best fish chicken wings ever. They are my favorite. I actually I posted a video of her making it on TikTok. I had no idea and it kind of blew
Mhm.
up. But I was so shocked.
Mhm.
And it was like so different because there's for people who have never heard of that, they're like, what do you mean fish sauce chicken wings? Like there's no fish in it? Like they're very confused. Like if you're not aware,
Oh,
it's very
right.
different.
Okay.
Like if you're not growing up with fish sauce as like a regular condiment, I feel like it's very different. But when she makes it for me, it's just so good. And I've recreated it myself and it's good. It just is missing something. Like I don't know. She does something that I can't recreate. So I definitely feel you on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, yeah, and so I guess like kind of talking about, identity and food in that
Mhm.
intersection, wanted to ask kind of what your journey has been with your
Mhm.
identity. It could be, I guess like there are so many facets to it, of course,
Mhm.
like so you can speak on any of those things, all of them.
Mhm. Yeah. So, like I mentioned, I'm first generation Vietnamese American. So, I am originally from Texas, but my dad's
Hmm.
family is out here in the Bay. So, I've always lived out here and came to visit and things. And now I live out here full time. So, for me, growing up in Texas, I was definitely a token Asian in my area. I think there was
Mm,
so little Asian representation to be found. And I kind of struggled with wanting to fit in, obviously, and then wanting to embrace my culture. Like, if we're talking Asian kids in my school, there was maybe 10 of us. Like, it was very token. And so
same.
for me, it was very
Hmm.
different. Like, I would back in the day, I remember like on Tumblr and on MySpace, I would see like so many cool Asians, and it was so different, right? Because like in my area, everyone was kind of also struggling in the same way. I think we were kind of like at home having immigrant parents, and we were very Asian, and that comes with a lot of different things and different lifestyles than everybody else. And so I think for me, it was that struggle of I really wanted
Hmm.
to be a part of the culture and like be able to embrace it, but also, at school, everyone was kind of stereotyping me in a new way. And, I think that was very difficult. And so, what I love now is that we're in a new era where we're embracing and we're empowering our culture, and we're seeing it almost, go mainstream in a way of where people are being able to see themselves on the screen. They're able to see themselves through food and through just life in general. Things that maybe when we were kids, we were made fun of for, now it's like really cool. Um, so I do think that for me, growing up and kind of starting to embrace my identity a lot more, I'm really proud of it. And it's something that I think before I may not have said as loud and proud as I wanted to. And now I
Hmm.
definitely feel like a lot of my content is emphasizing um, API businesses and influences and things like that. So for me, that is a very big part of my content, and it may or may not be noticeable, but I do highlight a lot of API businesses and recipes. I think for me, it's super nostalgic and it's truly my life. So it's something that I definitely love
Hmm.
and being able to have people connect with in that way.
Hmm. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. Was there anything kind of along this journey that I guess helped you to embrace that culture? You've kind of mentioned food, but I wonder if there's anything like specific. I would say that I also, had a very similar journey, and it's still, I think, a journey that I'm on. Like
Mhm.
there are moments when I catch myself and I realize that there's still work to be done in terms of like really like loving myself, loving like where I come from.
Mhm.
And so yeah, if there's anything that you can share with us on that front.
At the start of my career, like I mentioned, I'm in Texas, so there was not a lot of representation being found. And a program that honestly really launched my creativity and my career is this program called MAPE. So it is actually a multicultural advertising internship program. And
Hmm.
doing that, it was an amazing program. So it's actually geared towards like marketing, advertising, but you'll find like producers, creatives, and things like that in there. And it is pretty much a way and a program for everyone of different backgrounds to be able to get their foot in the door. I think that, before it was very hard. We were applying, and sometimes, like with a lot of systems, like if you have a unique name, for instance, systems will automatically kick you out. It doesn't know who you are, it can't read you, or it will represent you in a way that isn't true to who you are. So that program
Hmm.
actually launched my career. It is a huge program that runs every year in the summertime, and the classes can be from like 300 to like 500, and it's everyone from all over the US, and we're getting placed in different cities together, working together, while really learning about the industry of marketing in general.
Mm-hmm.
That for me, honestly, was a huge push in my career and my life. I always tie it back to that program because I was able to see so many people from different backgrounds, and we're really embracing one another. The whole point of the program is to be able to embrace our differences and why we make an impact in the industry. So for me,
Mm-hmm.
I was able to meet so many amazing people. Actually, I got placed in San Francisco for my internship. So, in doing
Oh.
that, live here in a city where, honestly, if it wasn't for the program, I would not be able to afford to live here as an intern. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so, I think that honestly was an amazing way because it showed me so many people of different backgrounds. And I feel that it made me proud of me. And I got to meet a lot of other people who I related with in a lot of different ways. And it was fun. You know, you're out here making friends, you're able to embrace one another. When we were going out, you know, we're a actually like super diverse group going out and having fun. And I think that that pushed me. I met a lot of amazing people, people who I'm still friends with to this day, all over the states. And that really, really pushed me. I think a lot of the people that I'm close to are from that program, and they are doing an amazing work, whether it's in advertising, marketing, food, TV, film. Like, it's super
Mm-hmm.
amazing. And it's a program that I think is something that I work close with. And even now, I still mentor. And I think that that is so important to me because in an industry where, especially if you're female, if you're Asian, and things like that, where, you know, you may not always get looked at, you may get passed by. It's something that I've always
Mm-hmm.
wanted to work towards and embrace. I think diversity is so important. And that is definitely a cause that is close to my heart. And I still work with um, because I feel like when you come from an immigrant background, we don't get a step up. We don't have people
Mm-hmm.
who vouch for us. Sometimes we are the first step and the first person in our family to do something. And for me, I've always wanted to help out however I can, especially in that perspective. So, yes. Long answer,
Amazing.
but that is something close to my heart.
Yeah, of course. And so I guess like what just if we are able to like dream a little bit, like definitely there is an envisioned, world that we might want to live in. And so I'm wondering like what are your wildest dreams for your community and also perhaps for yourself too?
Yeah. I think for the community, I would love to see, I think in light of everything going on, I would love to see us feel and be safe in our identity and
Mm,
ourselves when we go out. There is truly, I'm wishing for, it sounds kind of crazy, but a little bit of like peace, right? I'm wishing
mm,
that we go out and we can fully be ourselves, fully be embraced, and not have to worry. And I wish that for everyone, honestly. Like, I wish that we could go out and there isn't an extreme amount of violence out there. And I'm just wishing for safety for a lot of us. I think that, you know, sometimes we forget and we see things on the news and it may not affect us day to day, but it is affecting someone out there. And so I would love for us as a community to be able to protect one another's, embrace each other, and just kind of do better for everyone. I think that
mm-hmm,
is a wild dream for me and for the community. And then for myself,
mm-hmm,
I think in terms of growth, I would say I'd love to continue to be helpful, be a voice, embrace however I can within our community. And at the craziest, maybe Thirsty Cafe becomes real one day. Maybe. We'll see. In the
Oh.
back of my head, I talk about with my boyfriend, you know, like I would love to run a little cafe or something. But
Mm,
that is like, you know, maybe one day when I'm
oh
like
my gosh.
9 to 5.
Okay, wow, that's so exciting. Okay. Wow. I love like talking to people about like what they dream about. I feel that perhaps like in our communities, especially when we're younger, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like that is not something that mm, that we're afforded as much like
Mhm.
freedom as we could in like, dreaming about like what we want to do.
Mhm.
There's that like idea that like we should pursue certain kind of
Mhm.
occupations, but
Mhm.
that's only because like our first generation parents like
Mhm.
knew that that would be the way for us to
Mhm.
have a better life here and to not face discrimination. But of course, like
Mhm.
we still do, like even
Mhm.
in those occupations. And so I feel like this is definitely a time when, this like era that you're talking about, all of us are, I think, fed up with having to like be fit into a box. And so I'm really excited to see like everyone really like get to know themselves
Mhm.
and to be themselves and to do that in community too.
Mhm.
So I love that. And so thank you for sharing. I'm
Yes.
so excited for Thirsty Cafe to be a real thing. And it is a real thing. So I hope
Yes,
you know that, yes,
for
that
sure.
you're creating amazing work and a lot of people love it too.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I guess just gearing into so like how we got
Mhm.
connected because of our product, Black Sesame Crunchy Butter. I'm just gonna show it on the screen just in case. But yeah, so I was wondering like what your experience with it has been. Have you had anything like it before?
Mhm.
What's like your favorite way to use it now?
Yeah. So I have never had anything like it before. I think I originally saw you guys on Instagram, I want to say, maybe
Mm-hmm.
through another brand or like Asian founded or something. I remember seeing you guys and I remember thinking like, wow, that looks amazing. Like I want to try that. Everything about that is sounds so good. And so I got it, and ever since I got it, it has been a staple in my house. My boyfriend and I are
Oh,
huge fans of it. We've ordered so many jars of it and also gifted it to so many people.
oh my
But
gosh.
we love it. And at one point, we were eating it almost every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Would have black sesame crunchy butter with strawberry jam on a waffle, and that was kind of our
Yum.
breakfast, something that we love.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, definitely am a big fan.
Aw, thank you so much. Yay. I think would love to just close it out. As a creative yourself, there are so many other folks out there doing creative and great things. Is there a piece of content or maybe a person who has been inspiring you lately?
Mhm. I definitely want to show love to my girl Twee. I love her. If you've never heard of her, she is a Vietnamese American R&B singer, and she's getting a lot of recognition right now, especially on like TikTok and Instagram. She's doing shows, but I love her. I think for me, I am an R&B lover. I've been since forever, and to even be able to see a Vietnamese artist be mainstream or be so popular is so different because if you're Vietnamese, like most Vietnamese singers are kind of doing shows that maybe our parents would like, but you would never
I
really
see.
see an artist, in the media. Like you would go on TikTok and see somebody or on YouTube. Like it wasn't really a thing. I think we
Hmm.
would kind of see them on YouTube and stuff, and then they wouldn't get as recognized in the media. And for me to be able to see someone like her up there, I think like that is amazing. I love her, and she has an amazing voice. So if you don't know
Amazing.
her, I definitely recommend listening to her. So she's great and deserves all the love.
Awesome. What's like a good song for people who've never heard of them to start with?
Girls Like Me Don't Cry. I think that is like
Hmm.
super popular. I think that may be her most popular song.
Okay.
But love that. And then if you're into something a little bit slower, I love Universe. I think that is my favorite song from her, actually. So
Okay.
yes,
Awesome. I'm taking notes right now. You can hear the pen clicking.
all good.
Awesome. Oh, that's so lovely. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us. Yeah, so I think that's it. I think
Yeah.
that's it.
Thank you. You made it so comfortable. I loved being able to talk to you about these things and just to be able to, you know, get to know one another and also just kind of talk a little bit more about community and dreams and goals. I think that is super fun. I love seeing your business grow, and I'm very excited to be able to be a part of it and to be able to be a lover of your product and brand.